We're going to visit the Erlen Group, and if you're not familiar with them, and I'm not completely as well, but they run the Springfield Underground. These underground caves that they mined out and then now have warehousing space where hundreds of trucks go in and out of every day, cold storage and all that. They also have a real estate group. They also have a limestone division. All of this that hopefully we get to learn about today. And I know especially what we do, we cater to trucking and agriculture, but we'll see today a lot of what they do is very tied to trucking. These caves that they have, they store a lot of salt, road salt, I know that for sure. There's also a lot of agricultural businesses, food businesses that are in there that they deal with. So yeah, this is one that's indirectly very, very much tied to trucking and agriculture. And it's a privilege and honor for us to share this with our audience today.
We call this the command center. And it just helps because we've got like 600 to 700 trucks a day coming into the facility. A lot of them over the road. We have some plant shuttles, but a lot of over the road trucks. And they think they're looking for a warehouse, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of a visible marker for them to say, okay, where am I supposed to be going? Where am I? What am I looking for? And then if we have any kind of emergencies, again, like we can tell the ambulance or whatever, there's 500 people working down below, stuff happens, so an ambulance or whatever can come here first and then someone can take them down to get faster to where they're supposed to be going. And they lose radio, right? Radio, any kind of GPS, all of it's gone.
How big is it below? Like how much space?
So all of these, so this is kind of a map of the facility, and you've got an underground and a surface layer. This is LeCompte Road, Division, Kearney, 65.
Yeah, okay.
You've got a trailer staging that's on the surface, kind of overlaid.
Yep.
This is the railroad over the surface. Then this railroad actually goes down and into the cave. So this is a cave layer. And each of these squares is kind of a pillar that holds up the roof, and then the white is empty space. And so then the yellow represents buildings and how they're laid out. So all of the yellow, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So cool.
So all of the yellow is 3.2 million square feet that's leasable. So that excludes the columns. There's probably another million of roadways, and then we've got about 750,000 over here that we could still develop.
Still open for development. How far below is this?
About 100 feet down. But we've got unusually high ceilings for an underground. We were able to go 40 and 50 feet in some places, which makes it really good for its second life as a distribution point, because the stack height is a lot higher for product.
And this was your grandpa that started this?
So he started, this is all, right out here is an open pit, which is what you see in most quarries. So you just make a big hole. But Kearney was Route 66 at the time, and they would have to shut down Route 66 every time they blasted for safety reasons. And, just the whole thing was kind of cumbersome. So they decided to go underground, so they started coming this way. The railroad was here, so this is their property. By the time they had mined all this out and then leased these small tunnels from the railroad and started mining over here, they essentially had a solid rock barrier minus the tunnels where they could mine on this side and start warehousing on that side.
Did he have the idea, though, that this could be storage from the beginning? I mean...
I don't know if it was exactly when they went underground, but he saw it in Quincy, Illinois first.
Okay.
And man has been storing food in caves for a long time, so.
That's right.
We didn't invent it.
Yeah. The concept.
Yeah. This is where we'll go next, but this is kind of our rail transloading yard, which I thought you'd kind of be interested in.
100%, yep.
So you've got the BNSF main line here. What we're doing is bringing in bulk commodities by rail, and then transloading either truck to rail or rail to truck. We're doing both now. It used to just be rail to truck, just to get it to the last mile, basically.
Yeah.
Because of some of the plant stuff, a lot of dedicated shuttle runs, right? So we've got a lot of food manufacturing happening in Springfield. And a lot of the warehousing is happening in the underground. And so, as it gets produced, it gets, put on a truck and hauled here for all kinds of different companies. So
I know we won't get to see the warehouses, but the main reason for food, obviously the cave temperature is
62 degrees all the time. About half the buildings are refrigerated and half of them are ambient. But for anything that's protected class, which means it needs to be between 32 and 90, so it can't freeze and it can't get above 90, they don't have to do anything except dehumidification. Whereas on the surface, on a day like today, you'd be running AC.
Yeah.
And then there's also a lot of kind of built-in resilience. So even with lost power, we've done some test runs. And if we lose power, it takes about 2 days for temperature to come up even a degree, just because of the thermal mass of the rock.
But I'm sure you may or may not know, but like versus a cold storage above ground, which I know several truck companies that run big ones, your savings underground having something like that's got to be considerably cheaper.
Yeah, I think it's about a third.
A third.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You said 500 people work below. Mm-hmm. And then as far as your all's team that kind of manage this?
Have about 20 people on the facilities maintenance team. But the Erlen Group has 3 different divisions. So we've got a real estate division, which includes Springfield Underground. And the Springfield Underground facilities team is about 20 people. We also have the Frisco building, which is a commercial office building. And that maintenance, they kind of cover, the facilities maintenance team covers both of those properties. And then we're working toward a lot of surface development, which LeCompte expansion really opens the door for this property to be developed. We've got 600 acres and very little of it is currently developed. And under, the city code, the bottleneck has been LeCompte. It just, needed to be widened so we could put more use on the surface.
Wow. So you guys have you have the above up here too?
Yeah.
600 acres?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You want to go see some parts of it?
Yeah.
All right. We'll go to the rail yard first because I think they're unloading a truck.
Ooh, that'd be perfect. So most of the salt that gets stored down there, most of that gets railed in?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Do you know, does that come out of Kansas, out of the salt mines there? Yeah.
Yep.
We did a featured video with a supplier that they move a lot of salt out of there, which is pretty cool. And ironically, I just got back from Utah. We were out on the Great Salt Lake doing a video feature of all the salt that comes off there.
Right now, what we're transloading is, and it's very smelly, so apologies, is blood meal for some of the pet food suppliers.
Yeah. This company's a client of ours, AH.
Okay.
Yeah, we know them real well, Austin Hammond.
So they come out of Purdy, or they are transloading onto this rail car. This is Matt Buckwalter. He's in charge of our rail operation.
Matt, Jared Flinn. Nice to meet you.
We call it Umlaut, and that's kind of the name of our transload division.
Umlaut.
You were asking where are the rail cars going. I don't know actually where they're bound.
They're all going to the Port of Stockton.
Oh yeah, out west. Yep.
Yeah. They're going to a transload out there, and then they're taking it to the Diamond food plant out on that location. Yeah, we have a lot of people that want to do rail but don't have the trucking arm, or have the trucking arm and have thought about doing rail but don't know how to get rail. So.
Well, I've always talked to I've talked to your dad many times because Springfield, there's very little freight that comes out of here.
Yeah.
For bulk, but there's all this freight that comes in.
Right.
But I always thought that should be a heck of a good opportunity for rail. I mean, to rail stuff in here and transload it off versus truck bring it down here, because you got to pay that truck round trip to come out. So is the plan to load all these with?
So we have, they have all of these hoppers. We usually hold anywhere from 12 to 15 of their cars here. The goal is to get about 5 done a week to go outbound to California. We have some stuff coming inbound now, but that's a lot quicker. It doesn't dwell as long as some of this outbound stuff, just because it takes that much longer to load a rail car than to unload the rail car. We see that loading them, right now we're using this equipment. We have another conveyor on the way. That's, if you're familiar with Schnell, transload, or transloader. It's a TLX 42. So it'll be a pretty big machine that should get us closer. It'll have a drive over and all that. It should get us closer to 15 to 20 minutes on the trucks. Right now we're about an hour when they get in. So it'll be a big savings for us, which in terms of the rail cars right now are taking 4 hours versus if we get that, we probably be somewhere in the hour to 2 hour range.
Yeah.
Which is closer to what unloading right now takes. unloading is usually, once it gets started, everything can get all that product out in about 15 minutes, it feels like.
Yep.
So in our buildings below, we have some that are rail served, right? So you can do
you showed that
rail
diagram.
to warehouse unloading. We only have 2 that take advantage of it right now.
It just seems like a huge competitive advantage where you could do both.
Well,
I mean,
it is. A lot of companies specify that they need rail, you know, when they're looking for a warehouse. But then I think we find that the actual utilization of it is it's just more challenging, right?
Yep.
I mean, just getting all the pieces together for rail can be more challenging.
Yeah.
But the savings are huge if you can get it done.
Yeah, we're estimating that from the truckload perspective, the rail car, they're saving somewhere in the ballpark of 20 grand on just trucking it out to California versus rail car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a huge savings.
per rail car?
Yeah. Given the time it would take to get out there
Yeah.
and everything, because the other part is when they come back, they always come back empty.
Yeah.
So if you
Those
could,
trucks.
if you could figure out how to make them where they weren't empty on the return,
Get a little bit, yeah.
then you could get a little bit better margin on that. But
All right,
to
you
go?
want to go underground?
Yeah. Hey guys, we are well underway planning for the Bulk Freight Conference. It's scheduled for January 7th through the 9th, 2026 in Branson, Missouri. We're gonna have it again at the same place we did last year in Branson. It was a great event. We had over 700 attendees this next year. We think we are gonna double that. Make sure and go to the bulkfreightconference.com. Get your tickets scheduled. We're gonna have a lineup of keynote speakers, guest panelists, wide range of topics. We're gonna have entertainment, all your meals covered. Man, go to bulkfreightconference.com and get your tickets scheduled now. God bless. So we're going in the north entrance.
Yep. So this was the old pit where he started mining, and then this would have been how he drove the tunnels underground. So there's 21 buildings. Most of them we lease out. 2 of them currently we're operating as cold zone, where it's our team, our forklifts, but other people's product. And I'm leading that operation a little more hands-on.
Mining this underground, you have to own the ground above. Like if somebody owns like say you own 400 acres, can somebody come underneath and mine that? Or like how deep does a person own the ground?
Yeah, no, we've mined under your house. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I had suspicions, but
Yeah.
no. I don't really know how that even works. Like what's the rules as far as...
Yeah, typically when you have title to property, you own theoretically to the center of the earth.
Okay.
You can do split titles by ledge.
I can see how that could be a little freaky if a driver never came down here before and then gets lost and he has no service. I mean, I bet you have some stories.
Yeah, have you noticed the blue and yellow signs while we've been down here?
Yeah.
Okay, some people don't notice them right away. And so it's signed like an airport terminal. And so they're told when they check in, you're looking for example, for building 16, and we try to make it pretty straightforward, just like you would in an airport terminal, right? Like 1 through 10 this way. But their whole environment can be so overwhelming for people that they sometimes don't see the signs, even though we've made them as big and bright as we can.
That would be me. I'd be so overwhelmed.
This is some of the unfinished mine, where you can see kind of the difference between the developed and the undeveloped. So going that way is 65, and then this way is the developed space. This is actually the footprint for a building we haven't built yet. And right now we've got just various companies that are looking for sort of a access controlled but rough storage area. And so they're actually just leasing it without any walls or, dehumidification. But you can see kind of what the old mining process was. So you would drill a blast in a V shape like this, and then you load your explosives in. And you would time your blast so that the center comes out first and all of the other rock collapses into the void you just made. Because it's super important when you're using explosives to make the holes, but you want to keep the column and the roof intact or else you've damaged your structure.
Yeah.
And so I just always tell kids when we're doing tours, like it's a super cool engineering field to go into, mining and blast like explosives. So after the blast, they would let it settle. And then they would pull the shot rock out, which is what we call just the remains of a shot. And then they send it through the first crusher, which would be down here, and then convey it to the surface where it gets screened and sometimes crushed again through a second crusher.
This is limestone, right?
Uh-huh, yep.
So then it's going, like products that this is going into would be?
Mainly asphalt and concrete.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of, I mean, when this was mined out, a lot of this rock is scattered through.
44, 65, foundations for homes, you know, bridges, roads, yeah, all over.
Is there any more rock coming out of this right now?
Not right now. Could be. We could still have all of our rights to continue mining it sometime in the future. There are more formations underneath, but not currently.
What about water down here?
Yeah, so we've made a big hole in the ground. So every time it rains, water collects in it. The whole mine is on a tilt, so it all flows to a series of different sumps that we've created. And
so this is tilted.
Yeah, so it does all drain in one direction, but we also have a bunch of different kind of collection mechanisms to guide it to sumps. So where we've shot further down and basically made a lake, and then we've got pumps that pump it to the surface. The unintentional benefit we have of this property is we're at the top of Springfield. So if we can get it out of here, it flows away from us. So we do have to collect it because it just seeps through as, you know, groundwater.
Yeah.
But once we've collected it, we can get it away from us pretty easily. It doesn't keep coming back.
Yeah. I saw there was a truck way up there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
So we have a team that focuses all the time on maintaining the ceiling. And so they go around and inspect the ceiling, and then because it is rock, you know, there will be pieces that come off, but we bring them down on our schedule, you know, not on Mother Earth's schedule. You know, that's part of, like, you can see these red spray paint lines. They would have, and you can see how it's a slightly lighter color.
Yeah.
So they would have identified something with the spray paint and come down and pried it off by hand. At some point, that's been there for a long time. The other thing you can see on these pillars is a bunch of scratch marks that kind of look like a giant bear came through and scratched the walls. There's a mount to an excavator that we use with a rotator on it, and it goes through and pulls all the loose rock. And that's, again, part of the mining process, because after the blast, it's pretty rough. And so you're pulling anything loose down so it wouldn't hit someone, potentially. Yeah, and we do, you know, we caution people not to go off asphalt because we are highly focused on maintaining anything, you know, around a paved surface. But if you go off, that's not, you know, monitored. And so you're really more in like a truly mining territory, which, you know, has a lot of risks with it. So,
do you know, just in perspective, like how many of these exist in the Midwest, or I mean, like these underground storage facilities?
I don't know. I don't have a count on the undergrounds. Missouri is the third largest producer of limestone in the whole country. So from limestone mining, it's a huge industry for Missouri, and, you know, Missouri for the country.
Yeah.
In terms of underground, it's a slight, you know, it has its pros and its cons. It's a little more expensive to do. There's a little more
capital up
kind
front.
of specialization that goes with it, just knowledge on how to do it. But it also, you know, is a nicer use case for neighborhoods, right? It's just not as visible to the community. So that part, I think, it has its appeal. You know, and you can, depending on what you're trying to do, you can get to a lower seam if that has a higher quality faster, and you don't have to take all of the dirt off. But if you have a good deposit right near the surface, it's definitely going to be cheaper just to take the dirt off. We had to leave a bunch of rock behind to hold up the roof, you know?
Yeah,
So.
That's right. Can you just talk about the percentage of like food and ag versus industrial, like kind of the sectors that are down here?
It's heavily food. I would say probably 70% food.
Okay.
But it's not, you know, there are sort of myths out on the internet that we're storing for some kind of an apocalypse or something. All of it turns within 10 days. So it's truly distribution. We do have a data center which is what's right here. We have an electronics company doing some distribution. There's a hospital running just PPE space down here. So there's some other, I think there's some document storage. So there's other things, but it is heavily food.
Yeah.
And again, it's just the resilience that the facility adds and the cost savings for refrigeration, plus the ambient temperature if you're doing, you know, just ambient storage, is you don't have to do anything.